Because you are there, I am here. A whole generation of Indians have their children in America. It was considered an honor to take care of older people in the house. Elders are a repository of wisdom. Sometimes your ancestors give you that blessing, that strength, that energy. You don't want to make your mother unhappy. Most ancient cultures venerate their ancestors in addition to having gods, right? You'll notice that in all ancient cultures from across the globe, you can go anywhere, it is forces of nature that is worshipped as God, right? The sun, the moon, always. You go to Mexico, you have the moon, temple of the sun, you have the temple of the moon. You go to the Mayas, they had that too. So you go to any culture, the forces of nature are so important because they controlled everything. And we saw how just this weekend, how the forces of nature humbled the country. Right? One hurricane encompassing almost a whole country. It was so big, right? And the devastation that there was. And that is why in ancient times they prayed to different gods, the rain god and the wind god and the sun god, and having an eclipse was like, oh my God, this is the end of the world. Bad things are going to happen, right? So this has always been true. But also in many ancient cultures, especially in the East, in Africa, South America, ancestors are worshipped. I remember in Mexico, I used to when I went to live there, I found it really strange that they actually went to the cemetery on Dia del Padre, all dressed up and keeping food. Once a year they gave them food. They celebrated them. They thought about them. They did all of that. Amongst Hindus, we also have this once a year ceremony for your ancestors, for the Pitrus, that we call them Pitrus. And you go to the temple and you need a priest to do whatever has to be done. It's called a shraddham, and it's done once a year for, all your families, because what we consider a day and a night for people in the other world is a whole year. One day and one night covers a whole year in cyclical time, right? We have linear time. So once a year, you feed your ancestors. I mean, you're not really feeding them, but you're just giving something for them. So we always, even when we pray amongst Hindus, whatever's made in the kitchen that day is offered first to God, and then you eat the same thing. It's not like the gods are coming and eating it up, right? But it's just a thought that because you are there, I am here. I'm so grateful to have been born. And if you had not been, I perhaps would never have been, right? So this gratitude to elders is there embedded in certain cultures. Now, it is changing a lot in India. And a lot of it is got to do with property, you know. Earlier, we all lived together in one house, and the oldest patriarch and his wife they controlled the household. Money belonged to them. And then it passed to the oldest son. That's how it was, right? But nowadays things are changing a lot, and it's being divided up, and you hear lots of stories of the parents being shipped off to an old people's home. So many elder communities and old people's home have popped up because a whole generation of Indians have their children in America. And these children cannot come back every time they have a headache or they have a, some hospitalization or pneumonia or something. They rely on this community to give them the treatment, to give them the love and acceptance that they want. Now, this was never an acceptable thing for us in our culture, because our elders, till the last day you took care of them. It was considered an honor to take care of older people in the house. But there's another funny story that I would like to add, because there's everything. Okay, there is people that respect elders, and there are those that understand that their time is past. So I saw a program about, different strange things that happen in the world. And one of them was about this village in India where once they realize that somebody is bedridden, they say goodbye to them, and there is a certain weed that they feed them, and they pass on. Now, I don't know whether this is a kind thing to do or it's a cruel thing to do.
The best thing to do.
I mean, in some ways you think that, someone who is confined to their bed is just a burden on the people around them. And most people, when they reach that stage, they're like, why? Whereas I find that people in this country and in modern let's put it in the modern world, they do everything to extend the last 2 years or 3 years of their life. Everything in their power, every surgery, everything is done. Usually you'll see people that pass would have had a surgery in the last month or a fall in the last month. And they spend that last month in a hospital or, doing that. And Eckhart always says, why would you invest so much, in extending the time of your life where you're of very little use to anybody? It's very hard to let our parents go. We want to hold on to them for as long as possible. But we also don't want them to suffer. We have this and we have that. So in cultures, in villages in Africa and villages in South America, the elders are a repository of wisdom. The children are around them. They learn the stories. They learn the culture. They learn the myths. They learn everything from grandparents. And if you have grandchildren, you know what that relationship is like and how precious it is. How to have children and grandchildren around you all the time. Yet all of us worry about what is going to happen when we grow old. Is there going to be someone who will take care of us or not? That is always a worry in our head. Today is a very special day. Today is Mahalaya Paksha. They say the heavens open up on this day to receive all your prayers, your praise of gratitude. And you can invoke all your ancestors on this day. Well, hopefully not in their physical presence, because that would freak me out. But there are times when I have closed my eyes and begged for an answer for something. I can't find the paper, I can't find my passport, or I can't find, we have an OCI card and I could not find that. And I opened the drawer and I searched and I closed my eyes and I told my dad, I said, why am I losing this? I need to find it. And then I suddenly had the idea to pull out the drawer, and there it was, behind the drawer. Now, did he put it there? I don't know. But sometimes your ancestors give you that blessing, that strength, that energy. We invoke them in different ways. Our bodies, we have two kinds of karma. And this is not something that is taught by our scriptures, but I always feel we have two kinds of karma. We have some karma that is our DNA, our bodies. And we have some karma that is the mind. That is the actions and the impressions and all the things that we have, actions that we have taken in our previous lives. And it is the bodily karma that plays out when you have disease. So each one of us will have different types of weaknesses. And these weaknesses show up when your mind is at its weakest. Every time you have a physical illness, just examine it a few days before. You would have had a mental breakdown of some sort. Some time where you said, oh my God, I can't take this anymore. I can't do this. The stress is just getting to me. And when you do that, the weakest link in your body opens up, and that's where you get your illness. You'll catch a cold, or you'll get a stomach infection, or you'll get a, respiratory infection. We all get different things. Some of us are prone to cancer. Some of us are prone to heart disease. Some of us are prone to falls. Some of us are prone to injuries in our joints, right? We don't all manifest our stress in different ways. And it's all in your DNA. This is what your grandfathers did. This is what your great-grandfathers did. And I cursed my DNA for my inability to lose weight. Because it is said that because for the last 200 years, there were more than 100 or 150 famines in India caused by the British, taking away the food, that the Indians developed what is called a thrift gene. And that thrift gene hoards food, hoards fat, when there is in the presence of scarcity. So if you don't eat, you fast or you don't eat, the body holds on to that fat. Mm-hmm. And there are many Indians that have that problem, and its obesity becomes an issue with it. So we have a lot of issues that are typical to our DNA. Certain people, your DNA is so important because you and your family will manifest some diseases and won't manifest others. You will manifest some features and you won't manifest others. So there is that physical connection to your ancestors that is extremely strong. You feel it all the time. You know it all the time. But more than that, in India, we thrive on blessing and grace. You don't want to make your mother unhappy, because she may not say anything, but when she cries tears of grief, it manifests as problems in your life. You want to keep your parents as happy as possible, because their blessings is what keeps you from getting all the diseases, all the problems in life. So many days I would cry to my mother saying, oh my God, this is happening, that is happening. And just a word from her, don't worry, it's all going to be all right. Now she doesn't know that, but it is the blessings coming through her words That mom's there, she's going to take care of me, I'm going to be fine. It's like when the doctor used to visit us as children, and he would come and write a prescription for some red medicine, and which we would get from the pharmacy, and we would drink that red medicine, we're fine. Perfectly okay in a day. There is a lot of faith, a lot that we need in terms of blessings. We receive so many blessings from our ancestors all the time. Ancestors and unknown gurus. That's why your teacher and your parents are to be venerated. Through them, you get the most blessings. Because your teachers only want you to learn. Whether it's learning mathematics or aerobics or yoga or just knowledge like this. Teachers want what's best for you. There is nothing in it for them. And parents do too. Parents only want the best for their children. And those blessings are so precious. When you hold your grandchild and you say, in your heart is so full that only good energy comes across this child. So the aura changes when you appeal to your ancestors. So if you're going through a difficult time, sit down for 2 minutes, close your eyes, and just invoke the ancestor that you want and trust you will receive a message. You will see that you are being taken care of. It happens. See, I always talk about how I don't believe in God and all of this, but I do believe in energy, right? And in the Indian pantheon, there are thousands and thousands of deities. And the deity is nothing other than the chanting of a mantra. So the vibration of the words creates this form. And people feel that form. Okay, I would freak out. But there is a world beyond beyond my sensitivities, where people can feel energies and entities. You may call them. I don't like to call them ghosts because that has a negative spirits. Yes, spirits. But it's much more entities or energies, and you feel it. You feel it so many times in moments that you're extremely sad and you just talk to your mother or you talk to your father and say, what should I do? How should I handle this? The answer comes. The answer comes because while they may not be here with you in your physical form, we do not understand the world of energy. We only understand this world through our heads and our brains and what we see and what we don't see. And if we have cataracts, we don't see. Right? And we don't hear also. Everything goes slowly, so does it mean that it's not there? A lot is based on your trust and your faith. Your ancestors mean a lot. Your blessings mean a lot. When I rub my hands and I touch someone with it, you can feel the energy. You can do it too. And we do it to our children all the time. When our children leave, they prostrate themselves before us. Prostrate. And we always touch their heads in blessing because everything enters through here. Your life entered through here, your Sahasra Chakra. And it is these blessings that you get from friends, relatives that are living and the ones that are gone that really keep you safe. That is the reason your car started and didn't hit another car. That is the reason the grenade did not fall on your head. That is the reason the robber chose to go to someone else's house. That is the reason the assassin didn't come and attack you. And okay, you can say that this is all make-believe. But trust me, it is your energy. That's why we meditate. It is this creation of energy around you that keeps you safe, that keeps you happy, that keeps you healthy. So just for today, before you go to sleep, think about the people who came before you, who did so much so you could be here. Their struggles, their lives, that means a lot. That's why I wrote my books. I wrote both of my books as gratitude for my family. Because in a couple of generations, everybody will forget, where we came from in India. It'll be a different culture. The children will be intermarrying into the local community and it'll all get lost. And then who is going to remember Rajam and Dharma, my grandmothers, and Kamu and Kandu, my parents? So I wrote a book and I made them live characters. And that was my shraddhanjali, my offering to them. So that they may live forever, immortalized. And not everyone wants to write a book, but give them the honor of your thoughts. Today, remain in gratitude and invoke their blessings so that this year may be a good year, that the right person may be elected as president of this country, that wars and killing may stop, that women may be treated with honor and respect. We invoke everyone's blessings for this earth to continue as it is. Om Namah Shivaya.